Stop in real quickly with a friend of mine, Jason Wright. He is the guy who wrote The Christmas Jars and many other great books. What was the name of the book on down in New Orleans, Jason, that you wrote?
Recovering Charles.
Recovering Charles, a book that I, quite honestly, and I've told you this before, I did not want to read it. It takes place in New Orleans, and it was right after Katrina. Yep. And I had seen so much propaganda, much of this propaganda we now know came from Van Jones and his buddies, but so much propaganda, and I just didn't want to read it. And but I did because you're a friend of mine, and I was totally captivated by your book. Just loved it.
Well, that means a lot. Thank you, Glenn.
You have another one that is out now, The Cross Gardener.
That's right, The Cross Gardener, out in paperback last week. Real quick, the book is about this adopted boy. He's raised on a Virginia apple orchard. He grows up and kind of endures a series of really tough personal losses, some real trials he's got to work to overcome. And then life kind of finally seems to have leveled out for him as an adult. He's married. And then he faces really the biggest moment of his life, a trial so great he doesn't think he can get past it. It comes in the way of a car accident. And so he does what a lot of people do, especially here in the South where I live. He puts a small white cross, actually two, at the site of the accident. And then he begins to spend a lot of time there grieving these loved ones that he's lost, maybe too much time there. And then one day he shows up and he meets this man, this really special man who calls himself the Cross Gardener. He says it's a nickname he's been given by friends because he has this hobby, this kind of special interest in tending to these roadside memorials. And these two men develop this really interesting friendship. And this strange man, this Cross Gardener, he teaches this guy some interesting things about life and death and why we die and how we die. And really the big question in the book, and every book, and you know this, Glenn, from your books, every book has a really big idea. What's the big question? In this case, it's very simple. Are there angels among us? And does anyone ever really die alone? Even if you're on a quiet highway in the middle of the night with nobody around, or you're home alone in bed and you die in your sleep, is it really true that anyone ever steps through that veil from this life to the next alone, or is there always someone waiting?
I hope it's somebody that's kind and gentle that's waiting. Yeah. Don't you, Pat? I mean, don't you hope that it's somebody that's waiting? It's like, it's not like, hey, welcome.
With the voice changer. No, there's got to be somebody there waiting. Glenn, who will be waiting for Glenn back on the other side? That is the question.
No, I think there will be. Well, George Soros will go before me, hopefully.
No, but isn't it comforting to think your mother or someone just,
yes, you know who will be waiting for me on the other side? The only one that I am, the only one that I want to be able to look in the eye is my Creator. To be able to look him in the eye and have him say, welcome home. Welcome home. Good job.
Well done. Absolutely. Yes. There's just something about that process, I think, that it scares us. I wasn't there in the room when my dad died when I was 16 years old, and that I always struggled with that. What was it like? Was he afraid? Was was there fear in his eyes when he took that last step kind of from this life to the next? And so this book, more than anything I've ever written, more than anything I've ever done, it really helped me heal from losing my own father all those years ago.
I will tell you that when I spoke to Billy Graham, the line that I'll never forget that he said to me, he said, we were talking about, death and everything else. It was a happy conversation. It's me. We're talking about happy things. And he said, I'm really not afraid of death. It's just that dying part that kind of freaks me out. And I think it is that moment of slipping in between the worlds that is going to be a little hair-raising, and hopefully we'll be able to brave it with peace and, like you say, somebody holding our hand, whether they are there or not.
It's been so rewarding as I've traveled around since the book came out hardcover a year ago. Now it's out in paperback, and to meet people who really agree with the central idea that there is somebody there waiting, and that this process is not a scary one at all, no matter what kind of life you lived. If you really believe in God, and no one comes into this world without love and care, then that's probably how we leave the world. So you remember, Glenn, a couple years ago I gave out my cell phone number when we talked about the Wednesday letters. You remember that?
Yes.
You told me I was completely nuts?
Yes.
We're going to do that again. And you know why? Because I met some of the most amazing people from that experience, and I heard the most incredible stories about how a single letter had changed someone's someone's life, that long-lost art of the letter. So today, Glenn Beck listeners and fans, if you have a story you want to share with me about how you know with clear certainty that there are angels among us, that there has been someone in your life who has passed on and who had some help, a guardian, I want you to call me. You ready for the number?
You're out of your mind.
I'm out of my mind. 540-325-8219. 540-325-8219. That is my personal cell phone. I am holding it in my hand. I'll take as many calls as I can if you leave me a message. I promise I'll call you back. I called every single person back who asked for a phone call back when we did this last time. So I'll do it. We'll have a good time, I promise.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Jason.
Thanks, Glenn.
All right. Bye-bye. The name of the book is The Cross Gardener. Not an Insider Extreme member yet? What are you waiting for? Sign up today at glennbeck.com/extreme.